Hello, I'm Ricardo Levon, author of Rashida, a widow's oil novella. In this video, I'll be reading Chapter 1 of the book. Please visit lavari.com/Rashida for more information and videos and to get a copy. Thank you for your support, and now enjoy. And also, this is a character thing between two women. I can't do their voices, but hopefully you can at least be able to kind of hear what needs to be said. Alright, thank you so much once again, and enjoy. Chapter 1. I know I promised to go to the marketplace, but Harmit and I have to heal Amin-Ra from his war injuries, Rashida said. The physician's assistant was getting ready in her bedroom when a mild wind passed into the window. She was conversing with her youngest sister, Nishima, who was always there to support her. She was preparing to leave, meet with the doctor, traverse through Thebes, the capital of the Egyptian Empire, and restore a soldier who returned from an arduous war with the Hittites. "You're going to meet Sandstorm?" Nishima said. "The one who everyone is talking about fighting a giant and slaying in an army?" Rashida paused after gathering her supplies in the bag. She wanted to ensure everything was there and that Harmit could rely on her for assistance. Also, Nishima, calling Amin-Ra by the nickname Sandstorm, was popular in Thebes and spread to other cities in Egypt. Due to his legendary fight and several other grand stories, he returned from the war with the Hittites with a new moniker known as Sandstorm. His name is Amin-Ra, and yes, Harmit and I have to help him, Rashida corrected. "I can go with you after, or you can go and get what you need." Rashida took her role as a physician with utmost seriousness. She was an apprentice to Harmit, but began to gain clients who did not have severe medical issues. Rashida knew what to do but still learned from Harmit, a great doctor and excellent teacher. Although women physicians were throughout Egypt, most medical doctors did not care to train or have one as an assistant. Coming across Harmit was fortuitous for Rashida and allowed him to learn to have an approachable bedside manner. Being from Nubia, and a woman would have stopped anyone from training her in the medical arts, but living with a wealthy silk merchant helped smooth the road so she can do what she loved. Egypt and Nubia had been in numerous fights, battles, and wars. The continued strife between the two empires was costly regarding lives and wealth. The Pharaoh of Egypt and many of his influential counselors met with the leaders of Nubia, and they agreed on a temporary exchange of young people. The Egyptian-Nubian culture exchange allowed both nations to benefit from the young people of their land without families to learn and thrive in the other country. This shared alliance was supposed to temper wars or bloodshed because some of your people would be in another nation. Rashida lived her early years in Nubia, but her parents and close siblings died when a plague ravaged their town. Her grandmother lived in another city and was unable to raise her. Due to her circumstances and beauty, Rashida was chosen as one of the people to be a part of the exchange. Rashida was sent to Nail, an upcoming silk merchant, because they thought she would gravitate to clothes, tapestry, and needlework. Instead, Rashida had a love for healing, herbs, and medicines. Harmit was the family's physician and saw her passion for helping people as she always sat on every appointment he had with the family. For Rashida, being in Harmit's presence since her life in Thebes meant learning by his side for 10 years. Although she was approaching the age of marriage and having children, Rashida's goal was to move back to Nubia and share her knowledge and skills with her people. Half of her life was in Nubia while the other was in Egypt. She respected the people's culture and her family's religion, learned the language, and thought of herself as Egyptian. However, her appearance and mindset still relayed that of someone yearning to be home and to be amongst the people to whom she believed she was called to help. Rashida stopped momentarily when she was almost finished, ensuring everything was ready. She started her morning with the usual breaking a fast with Nishima, cleaning her body for the day, and then getting ready to visit the marketplace. One of Harmed's servants raced to her home with a message that she needed to meet at the warriors' complex. She couldn't believe Amun-Ra was their patient, considering the hundreds of soldiers returning from war. Of course, the soldiers were from all over the empire, including Mennefer, which was north and much closer to the Hittite Empire. Nishima had a devious look on her face when Rashida was finished. Her sister, as Rashida thought of everyone in the silk merchant's household as family, was only a year younger than herself. She was youthful and symmetric in appearance, which lied to people that she was harmless. Rashida knew that wasn't totally true and sighed, figuring that Nishima was up to something. "What are you thinking about?" Rashida asked. "Issaret is at the temple helping Harbai with her duties," Nishima started, her voice tinged with a hint of mystery. Issaret, Nell's oldest child, was a figure of intrigue, far exceeding Rashida by almost a decade. While Nell may have envisioned his eldest child as a son to inherit his business, Issaret's work with the priestly leaders in the temple complex was a boon for the family. It brought notoriety, power, and wealth. But what exactly did Issaret do with Harbai, one of the many priests in the temple? No one knew. Nell and Ahura, their mother, were pleased that Harbai was chosen to become the new high priest, a position of significant power within the Egyptian government. "I don't know myself," Rashida responded. "No one does," Nishima said. "It's important," Nishima said sarcastically, mocking Issaret's tone. Utet is helping father and mother with the business, preparing for the influx of customers coming soon. Utet was the second eldest child, only a year older than Rashida. He was the only son and was tapped to take over the silk clothing and tapestry trade from Nell. Rashida wasn't sure if he wanted to do the business or trained since birth that would be his position and lot in life. "That leaves me all alone with nothing to do to prepare for the Opet festival," Nishima finished. The whole city was abuzz with preparations for the Opet festival. The streets were being decorated, the marketplaces were stocking up on goods, and the temples were cleaned and adorned with offerings. It was a time of great anticipation and excitement, a palpable energy that filled the air and stirred the hearts of all who awaited the grand event. The Opet festival was one of the most anticipated events in the Egyptian calendar. It was a time of great excitement, celebrating Ra and his divine presence on Egypt's pharaohs and royal family. Amun-Ra, the sun god, was the supreme deity in Egypt, and Opet was a time to get closer to him. The festival, primarily celebrated in Thebes, the empire's capital, was just a few days away. It promised a grand celebration with parades, dancing, music, food, and shopping. The people eagerly awaited the festival's blessings, hoping for wealth, protection, fertility, and abundant harvest. "Certainly there's something from the marketplace that you would want," Nishima suggested. Nishima looked around Rashida's room, which was the barest compared to their siblings. All the children, including Rashida, had their own rooms. This was rare as most people could not afford to have the space for each child with their private domain. Rashida assumed Issaret would have been married by then and that her eventual marriage would have to occur soon. Many merchants and officials would be wary of aligning themselves with someone who couldn't produce offspring. Rashida kept her room tidy, clean, and simple. The drapes of protection that covered the windows were monotone but allowed her to match anything in the room to them. Nishima had several different drapes that she would change depending on the month, season, or a special holiday. Rashida's bed was comfortable and had the latest covering for protection and warmth. 3 pieces of art were scattered around the room, depicting a great battle the Egyptians had 2 generations ago with a foreign power. There were a few mini statues from the pantheon of gods. Everyone in Thebes had Ra in the house, often displayed outside. It was to honor and respect the god and show people who dwelt in their homes. The upper class had Ra statues in each bedroom and often other places of the house. Since every statue was hand-carved, it would have come at great expense to have so many in the home. However, Rashida also had Isis and Horus. Isis was the goddess of motherhood, funeral rites, and protection. She is also known as the mother of Horus, whom Rashida gravitated to because, along with a myriad of his powers, one was healing. Rashida scratched her head and looked at her comfortable gray dress with a bright yellow slash tied around her waist. She was dressed for the marketplace but wasn't trying to draw attention to herself. She was happy with her chosen color because it made it easier to help people with something that wouldn't reveal stains or fluids compared to pastels or lighter shades. Nashima's style matched her youthful beauty as she donned a bright yellow, pink, and sea blue dress that flowed every time a bit of wind drifted through the window. Nashima was devoted to Anubis and wore a jackal-headed pendant around her neck, bracelets and rings that signified his authority and power in her life. Nashima wanted to show herself in the best possible way, never knowing what official, wealthy merchant, or royalty might glance upon her in the market. She knew that although young, she was of marrying age and had no desire to wait as long as her sister to be betrothed to the prospect of a powerful young man. "I think I'm okay, but that's not what you were thinking just now," Rashida said. "What is it? What were you about to say?" "I want to come," Nashima answered. "What?" "To see Sandstorm. I want to meet him," Nashina said, again with more pepper and joy. "You don't know medicine," Rashida said. "I can be there for support," Nashima whined. "Support?" Rashida started. "You know very little of what to do with an injury, bleeding, a grievous wound, or anything." "I wonder if he's as big as they say," Nashima wondered out loud. "Excuse me?" Rashida said. "Or as handsome, or as well-toned, or as... I don't know," Rashida interrupted. "But soon Harmet and I will learn about his ailment and how we can heal him. Then I'll meet you at the marketplace like we planned." Nashima crossed her arms and frowned. She stared outside the window, then went back at Rashida. "I won't get in the way," Nashima whispered. Nashima made her eyes appear more prominent while the corners of her mouth went down. She hunched her shoulders forward, causing her small frame to appear even tinier. "What about Senio?" Rashida said after letting out a long and guttural sigh. She felt there would be no convincing Nashima otherwise. Bringing up Senio was a last-ditch effort to go with Harmet alone and take care of Ahmed Rad. "Being my personal guard outside this place means he'll go wherever I go," Nashima responded. Nail didn't want any harm to come to his children. He ensured a guard or protection was around them wherever they went outside the home. Each child, including Rashida, had a personal guard. Senio's was Nashima, while Persea attended to Rashida. Once Rashida received the message from Harmet's servant, she told Persea about the change of plans. In that conversation, Nashima heard what Rashida was about to do, and the discussion about them in the marketplace ensued. "I guess it's settled then," Rashida said. "You get to meet Ahmed Rad." Nashima glowed with the largest smile Rashida had ever seen. She was clearly into the tales of Ahmed Rad being told by the citizens of Thebes. "I get to meet Sandstorm," Nashima said, running out of the room to finish getting ready. Thank you once again for your support of Rashida. Make sure to get a copy for yourself on Amazon and wherever books are sold. Once again, if you want to learn more about this book or be entertained by the videos and information, please visit lavari.com/Rashida. That link will be in the description.